over the last couple of days, I've been receiving a lot of questions on how much money will you need for this upcoming Cayo Perico heist. And ultimately, at this very moment, I can't tell you an exact amount just because we really don't know a whole bunch about it. But we can actually look at the last two major heists that Rockstar have released to get an idea on how much you need. And in all reality, it probably won't be that much. So I just wanted to make this quick-ish video to give you guys an estimate on how much you should have in your bank account. So we are, 11 days away from this heist releasing, and I know a lot of people are probably going to end up playing the Cyberpunk game when that comes out in, I believe, 6 days. So you probably are going to want to have your bank account ready for the GTA DLC before all of that happens. So that's why I think a lot of people are wondering, well, how much should I just save up? And honestly, you probably should have a decent amount, just because there's not been a whole bunch to spend it on this year. The summer DLC was kind of a smaller DLC, didn't really have anything too crazy. So I think most people probably have a good couple of million, unless they just went crazy and bought everything that they ever wanted. But as far as how much you might need, let's take a look at the last two heists. So we, of course, have the casino heist, the most recent one, and then we have the Doomsday heist. We'll start with that Doomsday heist first. And in all reality, when you look back at these two, they didn't require that much either. The Doomsday heist, all you technically needed to start the heist itself was a little over $1 million. You, of course, needed a facility if you wanted to play the heists, but the cheapest one of those was only $1.25 million. Now, of course, that's not in a good location. You know, there's definitely some negatives, but the cheapest you could have played the Doomsday heist was basically for $1.25 million. The only other cost for the Doomsday heists were the setup costs. The Act 1 Doomsday heist, you needed $65,000 to start it. Act 2, you needed $95,000 to start it. And then Act 3, you needed $120,000 to start it. So if you add all that up with the cheapest facility, that's a little under $1.5 million to play the heist, which is not that much at all. Like, you could easily get that probably from just one casino heist mission if you get either the diamonds or the gold. Now, speaking of that casino heist, it was very similar to the Doomsday heist. You only needed an arcade to start up the casino heist, and the cheapest one of those was $1.8 million. So slightly more than that Doomsday heist. But with the casino heist, you didn't have the setup costs, or you didn't have nearly as high of a setup cost. You did have a $25,000 initial setup cost, but $25,000 in GTA Online is very little. So in all reality, you just needed $1.8 million to start up the casino heist. So looking back at those two, one requiring maybe about 1.5 mil and another one requiring 1.8 mil, you would imagine this upcoming heist, you're going to need probably something similar. I would say at minimum 2 mil is what you would want in your bank account to be able to play the heist. Now, that doesn't really account for all the negatives that go with some of these cheaper business properties. But if you're just looking for the minimum amount, that's what I would say, 2 mil, which that's nothing. The thing you're going to want to think about and, determine if it's worth it for you to grind more is if you want property locations in better locations, like the facilities, for instance, and even the arcade, for instance. The cheapest one, is up in Paleto Bay. You don't really want to be up there just because it's so far away from everything else. So you might end up spending a little bit more on the location. And then you also have all the interior stuff, which if you want to customize it and add different various features and abilities to the interior, that's going to cost a little bit more as well. But if you're looking just to know how much you'll need just to play the heist, it probably won't be that much. Now, this also doesn't take into account all the vehicles and stuff that'll be in this DLC. I'm sure there'll be some very expensive vehicles. I'm sure that submarine that we're getting, that'll probably be a good 5 to 6 mil. So, if you want some of the fancier stuff, that's where it all starts adding up. but that could come down the line. Like maybe with this Cayo Perico Heist, hopefully at least, you play it and you get, you know, a good 2 to 3 mil from it, and you can just do that over and over again until you have enough to buy the submarine and to buy extra property better property locations or the extra interior stuff. But that's sort of what I'm expecting this DLC to be. Rockstar, it seems like lately at least, they want most people to have access to the content. They're not trying to put the content behind super crazy paywalls like they did in the past. What they are doing instead is adding all of the super crazy fun stuff behind paywalls, like the submarine, for instance, like the Oppressor Mark II. You have to buy a nightclub and a terabyte for the Oppressor Mark II, right? They're going to add some of those better things behind the paywalls rather than the actual content. So hopefully this video cleared up some of the questions regarding how much money you'll need for this upcoming heist. The best answer, the best amount is probably a good 10 mil. That'll give you a good cushion on buying good locations for the properties that we'll probably get, buying some of the cooler vehicles that are in the DLC, and then you'll still be left with some for, you know, extra needs. But at the bare minimum, I'm thinking it's going to be 2 million or under. So that's going to do it for this video. Thank you all for watching. Please drop the video a like if you did enjoy, subscribe for more GTA content, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.